Broadcast video is now live, so hopefully there's some people on the other end of us. Very well organized and slick we are this evening, I think.
I'm really paying attention.
Probably with warning those who are on with us at the minute that we have decided to free flow this a little bit more this evening. This is probably much more a flavor of our private hangouts. Very important topic.
Last one.
Yeah, it is a last one. A last public one, at least anyway. It will be a bit more free flowing. Important topic, and yeah, we're just going to sort of shoot the breeze, I think. Is that it too? Steve, Chris, sorry, you used the jamming earlier, didn't you?
Yeah, I mean, that's right. Let's just jam the whole session. We're jamming.
I wonder if Google Effects has got guitars and.
I think they might have. We could always get the background going.
This could take us down a tangent, couldn't it?
We didn't want to be too formal, did we?
Are we going to give a bit of background as to why? Because we've had a couple of questions as to why we keep going, which was sort of the prompt for the Hangout, or are we just going to let it roll?
I think, seeing as you're wearing your silk tie, I think...
You can set the scene if you want.
It's a scarf.
You look like a broadcaster. You look like some famous BBC broadcaster from the past. Nobody in particular. Just
the reason we bring you broadcast.
If you've got some questions, Steve, I think you should probably ask them.
No. I mean, the whole thing's been prompted by people saying, what is it that keeps you going? Why do you just... Whatever happens to you guys, you just seem to keep going. It goes back to the original question. Oh, the four Musketeers are charging along. What is it that we do? Why do we manage to do that? And with Anna preening, Jack smiling, we're here to tell you, really. And there's no big secret. Our motto is NFS. NFS. There is no freaking secret.
Freaking.
That's a good motto.
You've definitely done the bleep test on that statement.
Have I?
Yeah.
Why, have we just got a red light?
No. You unblued it.
Well, I just didn't want to offend anybody that's listening, because there may be delicate ears out there, you know, and there is no secret.
I suppose that makes you much more considerate than me, because I probably wasn't thinking much.
Well, I remember Janice at the Momentum Day being very upset because Jay threw a few farmyard expressions about it. There's no need for that sort of talk, is there? And it kind of lost the message, so we don't need to offend people. But no, I mean, why? We've all had challenges this year, but we're still here, and we're still positive, and we're still going. And I think
there's a bigger question as well. I mean, it's a one directed at us, but overall, people can very often ask themselves why they don't see things through. I mean, with all the greatest intent in the world, they decide to start something, and I mean, we're talking specifically about our online businesses at the moment, but there are many things we take up in life that for some reason, very short periods later, we walk away from it.
Dieting, for example, going to the gym.
Giving up smoking.
Giving up.
Yeah, giving up, exactly.
I actually succeeded at giving up smoking, because if I hadn't, then I'd have died.
Well, that's a good reason to...
Well, there's a good reason.
That focuses.
And Steve, in one sentence, you create the metaphor for everything, right? Your reason. Well, your reason why. You know, if you start off with a reason that is attached to you emotionally, you're likely to see things through. That you're more likely to see things through. It's not a guarantee. You're more likely to see it through, right? That exact point. You walk into the doctor, you're either morbidly obese or you smoke, and the doctor says to you, you have to stop or you'll die in a period of time. And at that point, your brain goes, shit, I've got to do something, right?
I've never seen a brain do that. It does, I wonder why it talks such rubbish.
Yeah. and then you stop smoking and you put on about 3 stone because
you just die of consumptive overweightedness.
Yeah.
You take up the habit of eating rather than the habit of smoking.
It's just this, which shows that life's challenges don't go away. You've got to overcome all of them all the time.
Yeah.
I think it depends, though, how strong you can visualize where you're going.
Mm.
Because definitely when I lost all my weight, I was just like, you know what? I don't want to be one of those fat mums that you see everywhere in the park. I just don't. Fat mums are everywhere, and it is really hard to lose weight. And I've been one. Do you know what I mean? It was that more that I thought, no, I need to get me back, and I visualised it. And I had photos, and I was determined, and nothing was going to stop me. Do you know what I mean?
I've got a fridge. Which probably doesn't...
What you need, Steve, is a padlock.
No. I mean, I've got pictures on the fridge.
Look at wedding photos again.
And my magic fridge is something that makes things happen. Because if I really want something to happen, I put pictures of it everywhere.
Put your wedding photo on your fridge then.
I don't want to ever get married again. Did you hear that the other day? A marriage is like a deck of cards. It starts with 2 hearts and a diamond and ends up with a club and a spade. Sorry. Bad taste.
Anyone got a club?
No, but I've got a spade. I'll come, you dig, I'll shovel. You just, I don't know. My fridge door, the kids know when things are going to happen. Because I'll put a picture on the fridge.
So
if it goes on the fridge, it's a done deal. If it doesn't go on the fridge, I'm not really taking.
What's on the fridge at the moment?
What's on the fridge at the moment is a picture of a MacBook Pro.
Right, good one.
Good, yeah.
Because the MacBook Pro was so close in January, and it will happen in the next 6 weeks, and it will be a cash buy.
Yeah.
From spare cash out of the marketing budget surplus.
What else?
The MacBook Pro is on the fridge. I can't take you through to see it because the fridge is at the other end of the house. But the webcam won't reach that far. But yeah, there's a picture of the MacBook Pro.
I bet the fridge is too big to bring to where you are, Steve.
Yes, slightly. I've only ever seen one fridge bigger than ours, and that's Kubazak's. And his is the same as ours, but it's got a chest freezer underneath. We've got a big double-doored one, but he's got a chest freezer underneath, which is...
Well, actually, what you've done there, Steve, is you've set a sort of a short-term goal, haven't you? Because, we've talked about having these long-term goals, having a real why. We all know, we've all said that we need a real strong why. And when we've had these problems, we've all had a few issues over this last year in our personal lives and financial lives. Yeah. And it's our whys, I guess, have been strong enough to see us through. But I think you're right, Steve. I think sometimes you set these massive, huge goals for the future, and they seem so huge and so sort of far away that sometimes you don't take any action to get to. They're just always in the future. They're not now, And I think having these
believable though, Chris, are they?
Sorry?
I don't think they're believable.
No, you make them unbelievable if they're too big.
If you don't believe it, you don't do anything about it.
No, exactly. Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, if somebody said to me, "Oh, this time next week, Rodney, you'll be a millionaire," yeah, of course I will. And you're not going to do anything to change it. But if they said this time in 6 months, you can be earning £10,000 a month, that's still kind of out there. That's a big ask mentally. Yeah. But to say, well, in 6 weeks' time, you can buy a MacBook Pro for cash. Yeah, okay, I can believe that. And I'll go for that. And then, but as a byproduct, the work I've done to produce that actually will produce a whole heap more work.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to miss that target.
Yeah, no, it's interesting. My long-term goal for myself, actually, it's interesting as well, talking about goals for yourself and other types of targets, which I might just touch on in a minute, because having your own goals is great, but I've kind of learnt over the last few months that you need to have another idea of where you're going, and it needs to be sort of bigger than you. I mean, this is something that we've all learned from Jay Kubazak and other people who've had huge success, and they've told us this, and we've gone, yeah. And, over a period of time, you have sort of issues. You have kind of issues of your own, and you think, right, well, how am I going to get through this? And you go back to what Jay's told you, and you listen again. And it really does start to make sense. And this whole idea of having something bigger than you to do. So for me right now, I'm just talking for me personally, what I really want to do is help people get through the blocks that stop them from making progress, which is what we've been. I think we all want to do that. I mean, that's what we've set ourselves up for as the Four Musketeers, isn't it? Yeah. Because that's real value that we can add to people's lives when they get into internet marketing and stumble and get stuck, because everybody does at various times. When you stumble and get stuck, you either give up or you find a way through. And what we can do is help people, because we're on the journey. We can help people to get through too. I
think as well. The smallest thing can stop you. You get bent out of shape if you haven't got a big reason.
Yeah.
You know, this week I've had the thing with videos. Well, you could just sit there and go, "Oh, I can't be bothered with this." But there's so much other stuff you can do. The guys in tech are going to get on with it. Just flush it, move on, do something else. You know, these little problems come and you either deal with it or you die.
That's an entrepreneurial state as well, though, Steve, because you know, with that bigger vision, the end goal for yourself and your why, as you go along and you find things, you know they have to be done. So whether you do them or someone else does them is a side fact, right? It's just a case of making sure they're done.
Yeah.
You might need to give up some of your profits to get someone else to do some of whatever for you. But if it frees up your time to do something more important that you enjoy, then there's benefit in that as well, right? And that's ultimately having that bigger picture. You can see all the pieces of the puzzle, and you only do the bits that you want to do eventually. Yeah. And there are building steps. I mean, you will likely need to do some of the stuff you don't like over time. But you'll probably soon figure out to hand over what you don't like to someone else.
Yeah. It's like Chris's 3 columns, though, isn't it? About
that was a brill video. We need to get that in the community, Chris.
Yeah, well,
and really, that goes back to a life skill, because we're all learning digital education, I suppose. And in life, though, when you're bringing up children, you sometimes you focus on the things they're not good at to make them better, but really you should be focusing on their strengths, because they're going to excel. So just focus on the stuff you enjoy doing and you're good at doing, and all the other stuff outsource as quickly as you can.
Absolutely. That's a conclusion I've only recently come to, I have to say, because of the blockers that I've had. And I thought, how am I going to get through this? There are things I just don't like doing, and because I don't like doing them, they don't get done, and the whole business slows down. And so I've just made that decision and I've started to do it in the last couple of weeks. And I'm outsourcing everything that I don't want to do myself. And my goal now is
just to interject there briefly, it might be worth letting people know what the 3 columns is. It sounds like some magical thing that and it's conjured up in conversation.
The 3 columns.
The only way you can have that is to get in under us and then go elite, and then we'll share the 3 columns.
So here's the drum roll.
I've got to remember what the 3 columns is.
Let me get a proper drum roll. Hold on.
Go on then.
Are you ready? Are you?
Well,
Did you get your drum roll then as well? Yeah.
Right.
Oh.
The 3
now
columns.
that we've built it up.
This is what I'm doing for myself, right? I'm making 3 columns, what I mean by that is 3 lists of things that you have to do in this business, which you'll work out once you're doing the business. Once you're in the business, you'll work out there are all these different sort of aspects of the business that need to be done. And what you'll discover over a period of time is that you'll love some of it, and you'll jump out of bed, and you'll really enjoy doing it, and and actually, if you're not careful, that's all you'll do. You'll just do the stuff you love and leave, and not get on with the stuff that you don't like doing. But you'll find out what you love doing. You'll find out that there's stuff that just completely blocks you, things that you hate doing. And this comes back to this discussion we had the other day about sort of artists and scientists, and whether we all are, really.
That was a real light bulb moment.
Yeah, I think it was really, because, we've all discovered that we've got strengths in different areas. I mean, Steve is a brilliant blogger. He's absolutely brilliant at blogging, social networking, creating content, and that's how Steve's mind works. But what Steve really doesn't enjoy doing is things like
keyword search.
Keyword research. Yeah, keyword research. It's not, Steve doesn't want to do keyword research if he can help it. And he'd rather maybe Jacques, who's brilliant at keyword research, do that for him.
And, what are we good at? Because I couldn't work out that I was good at anything.
I think you're an artist. I think you're a great personally. I think you're great at doing content as well.
I'm some kind of artist. Oh, yeah, that makes me feel great.
You're certainly nicer when you're sober.
Sorry.
So yeah, going back to these 3 columns. So make these lists. Make a list of all the things that you really love doing, and then make a list of the things that you absolutely hate doing, and then consider the things in the middle that you sometimes do when you're really pushed, and you do them, and you think, Christ, that wasn't as bad as all that. I actually quite enjoyed doing that, but I just need to be somehow pushed into doing it. And what you do with that middle column is build it into your daily routine. So the stuff you love doing, you're going to do anyway. That's not difficult. The stuff in the middle that you're kind of, yeah, I can do it when I'm really pushed, but it doesn't stop me. I'm not really into it. Build that into a daily routine, and I think Steve would say, get those things done first thing in the day. Make those the first jobs you do every day.
Well, I do, yeah.
And build them and see if they become a routine and a habit that you can actually really enjoy doing. And if they do, brilliant. If they don't, outsource them, because that's the third column. The third column is stuff that you just hate doing. Things that it just isn't in your mindset, it isn't in your psyche, it isn't in your ability to do certain things. So don't do them. Get them outsourced. And I would say that middle column is the column where you kind of learn whether you are any good or whether you are into certain things. Try them out, do them for 30 days, say, try and build them into a habit. And if they don't work, outsource them. And that way you don't get stuck.
Can I just put one little corollary to all that? If you want a MacBook Pro badly enough, you will do the shit that you hate too.
Yeah.
Because
I tell you what, let's choose round of applause.
I've built money sites, and I was in tears, and Julie actually had to download the individual lessons, print them on blue paper, and then guillotine them down into individual steps so that I could read them, because I had a real problem
And
reading
you built the most sites.
But I needed to do the process, and I had to overcome that personal problem. And the only thing that made me do it was the desire and the urgent need to get to where I wanted to go. So, I agree with Chris. Once you've learned how to do things, fine, outsource them if you still don't enjoy them. But I do think at some point you need to understand what it is you're outsourcing, if only so you don't get ripped off.
I agree with that. But the other thing about outsourcing is that if you want to scale the business ultimately, you know, if you want to make the business grow, you can't. How many websites can you sit down and build and write articles for? You know, if you're going
I can't. I don't want to. I'm going to be too busy sailing and surfing.
Exactly, but you will know how to do it. So when you're outsourcing, you'll know exactly what to ask for, and you'll know whether the outsourcers.
And if somebody doesn't do the job I've asked for, I'll know not to pay them.
I mean, the other thing about outsourcing is, because I keep saying outsourcing, and people are sort of thinking, well, that's going to cost a bloody fortune. And actually, the whole point of outsourcing, in this business anyway, is that it doesn't cost. You'd be amazed how little money you need to spend to get things outsourced. And whether we talk about it now or in the future, but we can guide you and we can show you where to go to get work outsourced.
Absolutely.
I think that can be a topic on its own. But I mean, you've got to consider the value of your own time as well.
I never thought you'd get an article for $2 though.
No,
you could get articles for 50 cents, but I wouldn't use them.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there's a whole other topic involved there.
There's cheap and there's value.
Yeah. So I mean, I just want to clarify something for people online or on watching at the moment, is that, and we're quite a jovial bunch. We've all been really candid here, but the last 12 months has presented a lot of personal challenges for each of us. I alluded in my broadcast to my list that, you know, they were very easy. Any one of us could have walked away. And in concluding why we haven't, it's come to a very simple conclusion, and that's we've got a very strong reason why we're doing what we're doing, and every one of us has got a different reason. We're not following or chasing the same overall dream. I mean, there are elements that are involved that are similar, but we've got our own reason that's very personal to each of us that takes us to or is taking us to where we want to go.
Absolutely.
And you know, it's worth stating that none of us are going to go into detail because it's not one of those sort of conversations. But we could be here for many more hours this evening having that conversation if we really decided we were going to.
What about the shit that we've had the last 12 months?
Yeah, the 12 months. You know, we could go on.
Does it all, isn't it?
Yeah, but we like to remember the good stuff, guys, and I think that's also an important aspect, right?
But actually, all those things that have happened are you learn loads more
Yeah.
than the good
Yeah.
ones.
Yeah.
So they
You
actually
take them as a lesson and move on, rather than as a defeat and walk
and
away.
we've loads of celebrations as well.
Yeah. Can I ask a question? Have any of you started doing a memory jar like Lee and Tammy suggested at New Year?
No.
No.
No. And I really think that we all said that we might. And I've had loads of victories, and I'd have a.
I can't even remember what it was.
No.
Glass jar, and every time they get a win, they write it down. So next New Year's Eve, they can get a year's worth of memories out and go, "Oh yeah, I remember that," and "Oh yeah, I remember that," and "Oh cool." Which seemed like a really good idea, but we've all had such a shit year to date that we've just had nothing to write down and put in the jar, probably. Which isn't true.
Well, you're on the first page of Google. That's something to say.
Yes, result. For more than one site.
And your blogs are profiled with SFM.
Yeah, recognition.
Yeah,
And you
completely.
remember the first elite in the gold event with the gold.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
You know what I mean?
I didn't even know it had happened, right? So
I know.
that's what we're doing all this for.
Gallivanting at a wedding. It was like when my MacBook broke down, and I was at the Apple shop, and I was like, this was the worst day of my life because they wanted to keep my laptop for like 3 days or something, and I just said, you can't have it. I'm gonna have to bring it back and just manage with it. And then, but it was really like, I think there was all problems with it, kept freezing. Do you remember? And in the end, they said they'd do it within 12 hours or something. And then I got back home and I'd made a elite sale.
Brill. Absolutely brill.
So,
Remember when we told Stuart that story at Reading, and he's like going, "What are these two bomb pots on?" And I told him that story of that girl in Hawaii, and I was going, "And she did this, and she did that, and she did this, and she did that." And Stuart's going, "Yeah, right, okay. Oh yeah, okay, right, good."
Right.
And that is the most embarrassing video I think I've got on, and I've deleted it now because you can see him just going, "Oh, I don't want to be here. Get me out of this room with this madman." And I'm getting all excited, hands everywhere. That was a real good time, and we had it was a real time altogether, though, wasn't it?
the Dead End blast. And you wake up in the morning, I mean, like
That was so energetic.
100
That,
leads or something.
that was real high energy around then, wasn't it? You know.
It's making me cry with laughter, you know.
You sure it's with laughter?
Yeah, I was going to say, you've just highlighted some bad times in a year, and you're now saying you're laughing and crying.
Start to think about them.
I think there's another top tip here, guys. You've got to be prepared to laugh at yourself, right?
We have.
Take laugh. You got
Yeah.
to
That's
take
what I
life
was
too
going to.
seriously.
Yeah, Jack, you're absolutely right. But then all the things that go wrong, or everything that's crap in your life, if you just look at it and just flip it, anything that's going wrong is a reason why you need to build a business. So,
Yeah. That's right.
It's a line out of my book, that.
is it?
Flip a
But
weakness.
it's kind of right, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? It's like, oh, I haven't got time. Well, you need to build a business. Oh, I haven't got the money. Well, you need to build a business. Any reason anybody comes up with, well, that's why you need to do this. You know, and all the things that are stopping you are actually reasons why you need to get on with it. And it can be challenging.
Also, look back on the things that we've learned, the skills that we now have, and you only realise that when you're talking to people who haven't got them.
Mm.
Yeah, and
Because we talk
about
about we're trying to improve and get better and better. It's only when you speak to like a friend of yours or somebody, a business offline, that you realise how much digital knowledge and skills that you've developed.
You know, a simple thing. You know, Chris and I were talking just before the call went live, and he was saying he sent his broadcast yesterday from his iPad on 3G. Right now, when we first started out, sending a broadcast from your laptop with all your tools at hand was a daunting task. Now you get by and you can get it going. We've figured out how to do that, and it's not a daunting task anymore. It sounds flippant, but it can be quite difficult to send a broadcast off your iPad, actually, if you don't have your wits about you a little bit. But it's simple things like that. You just you just start doing things every day that you don't think about anymore. And that's just repetition, right? You do things enough times, it becomes habit, and that habit just becomes second nature over time. And there's stuff I do now every day that I don't even think about. When I look back what I've done, I feel like, well, I haven't done very much this last week. And I sit down and I think about what I've done, and I've done tons of stuff.
Yeah.
Oh. Cheers.
Special delivery.
You pass one. Pass one.
So your fridge walked over to you there, Steve.
Don't you dare call my wife a fridge. She's not that big. She's only 5'3" wide. I forgot what I was going to say. You've just said about what we know and what we don't. I was on Money Sites tonight with Jason and Mad, and they were saying how we feel as though everybody knows about SEO and this and websites and all the rest of it, but you talk to offline business people and you say, I can get you on the first page of Google. That's all they need to know. They don't care how you're going to do it. They're just awestruck that you are. And then you write 3 articles and another article, set up an SYA campaign, do this, do that. 60 days later, bingo, they're there. And that's all SEO is. And they just don't understand. And for all the people that are out there, go on, sorry.
Just to the point we've just made, right? You say that now flippantly to some degree, right? It's easy now because you've done it.
No, Jack, it's not flippant. It's
not. Okay. Maybe
I still cry when I do a PNK. But our level of learning is stratospheric compared to where we were 8-9 months ago.
Well, you just think December. I know I was hidden and scared of SEO. I put my head between my legs and I just said it's not something I can do. Now
I can't do that either. My belly's
and I just realised exactly what I said there. All of you can clean your brains out.
No, I can't see my legs, let alone get my head between them. I'm a lorry driver. We've got a basketball down here.
Yeah. Sorry.
Slightly off topic.
Yeah, the image just got stuck slightly.
No, but I thought the same. I thought SEO was for the big boys. You had to pay loads of money, basically.
I was told that by a big boy, right? A 7-figure earner. It says if you can't spend,
you know what I mean? It was that impression. You had to blog for years.
Well, I was told if you can't afford 250K's worth of investment in tools and whatever goes with it, then you're not going to play with the big boys for SEO. And I was like, you hear that from someone who's earning 7 figures. And immediately you go, and he's earning it because he's an SEO king. You just go, okay, fine, that's the way it is. I don't have 250K to put on SEO training and tools, etc. Between the 4 of us, we've not spent that sort of money for the skills we've got now. Not even close. Fraction in comparison.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, between us, we've got about 3 or 4 possibly websites now up on the front page of Google, haven't we? Maybe more. Yeah. And that's with stuff that we've learned in the last few months. And it's just part of the whole education. And SEO, if you're listening to this and you're sort of thinking, SEO, what on earth are they talking about? Well, don't worry about it too much at the moment. But SEO is one of the kind of prongs of it. It's one way to get traffic. It's one of the methods to get traffic to visit whatever it is you're offering. There are other ways which include maybe blogging, social media, Facebook, Twitter, and buying traffic, actually paying for it as well. But we don't, again, this isn't the time to talk about that. But if you're listening and you're sort of saying, what on earth are they talking about? Well, the point is, we're talking about things that a few months ago we wouldn't have had a clue either. And now we're talking about them as if they're second nature. And, we can help you. And
without a strong reason why we wouldn't have gone down the road of learning how to do each of them, right? Each of them was individually big enough of a hurdle to go, ooh, it's a bit too scary, I'm going to walk away from this. Yeah. Every one of them is out of our comfort zone.
One of them, the bill was a bit too scary as well, to be honest.
Well, I mean, yeah, there have been some scary balls. But
another additional to that, though, is that the support that us 4 have given each other.
Yeah.
I think that above anything else.
I actually believe I still would have been here, but I may have gone off a different tangent. So we keep kind of on that track as well, don't we? Keep each other on track.
Yeah,
It's another level of
I know,
accountability,
I'll hold
really.
my hands up. I could have walked 2 or 3 times, and maybe if I'd been on my own, maybe I wouldn't have. I'd never have said I've given up. I would have just slowed down to such an extent that I probably never would have got going again. And working with you guys has definitely been a huge help for me. And we've got the mentoring and all of the support we get from the actual six-figure mentors and the Digital Express Academy and our leaders within that group as well. But helping each other has been great. And I mean, I'll make the point that what we're talking about here is that we want to offer that sort of help and support to the people who come into the business so that we can fast track them, support you, help you over the hurdles, help you to get through the blocks that always come. And we've had to get through the blocks, and we'll help you to do the same. We ain't going anywhere. We're going to be here for the whole journey.
We've got loads coming as well. We've got loads of free tools and plugins to be giving away to people.
Yeah.
Don't
Stuart
say
and Jay.
free.
Well, great value. I mean, Stuart and Jay have definitely done some work in making sure we've got some assets we can hand out to those people who are interested and that can help them on their businesses without them spending any money for it. But trying to stay away from your use of the word free there, Steve.
Yes, thank you for that. Free on
But the quick, short way of saying it is you don't have to pay anything, they're free.
Yeah, exactly. I was trying to do the political thing and say a whole lot of hot air and not actually make any sense at the end of it. But we won't go down that road. I mean, the tools that are coming down are going to save costs that come into your business on a daily basis, money that you can use on your marketing instead, where it's better spent. And that's just the way it is. It's that simple. I think we've just lost Chris.
But the tools that we've paid for or used in the past, aren't they? That a lot of plugins you have to pay for, and we're going to be offering these to help people on there.
Well, absolutely. I mean, that's how we know these are business costs that we have all the time, right? These are things we spend money on a regular basis, and they're now going to be free and available to us. And what's more is if you're a member of the SFM, you'll be able to hand them out to other people as well, which is a great asset to have.
It's also important to say that we're also going to be offering our kind of 4 Musketeer inner circle training coming soon. I'm just going to tell them.
Wait until Chris
tell them exactly what we're doing. I'm just going to tell them, that it's going to be top secret training coming up that is going to be available for people to really fast track, really, I suppose. So I won't say any more on that before these two start slapping me.
I said in my broadcast we won't leave people hanging, but I think we'll leave it at that for now.
But I think it's just something unique to mention that we have, because obviously a lot of the tools they'll be able to offer through the SFM, but there's going to be some things that we can give to these guys that are listening today that are unique.
Yeah, no, I think that's fair. You can almost, in some ways, it could be considered a translation of what's within the SFM as well.
Yeah.
So in other words, we've read it and actually got to the nitty-gritty of it. What?
Stop giving it away.
Okay, sorry. Just get excited.
It's exciting stuff. It is exciting
It
stuff.
really is.
It is. I mean, again, back to the point of 12 months ago, the things we thought we would be doing and the things we're doing now. It's 2 worlds apart. No, well, I mean, it's worlds apart, right? You just don't realize how much and how quickly you learn. And back to the point, I mean, we're laboring on it a little bit about a strong reason why, because it's important. It's very important. You will have a very steep learning curve, but the stuff you learn and when you apply it is the 2 words that jump to my mind are magical and amazing, but it's a bit more blood, sweat, and tears than magical and amazing, to be honest.
I think it is, but I think when you're convinced that you can achieve what you're setting out, nothing gets in the way. Yeah. Nothing hurts.
I mean, the belief that comes out of that first $20 sale, right? It's incredible. The belief that comes out of that first $20.
Yeah.
It's just you prove the concept, and after that, it helps fuel that reason why. And I'll say that for myself, from my own personal experience, it definitely helps fuel the reason why.
It took me 12 weeks to get a sale at all of any. Oh,
that'd be Chris.
Hello. Where's my earpiece? Hello.
Chris,
You can see we all work the technology really well, hey?
Hello. Where's he gone?
Has anybody been
Right.
asking you any questions, by the way?
You know what? And I haven't actually been looking. So I've been
really
engrossed in
weird.
this topic. It's been such a personal topic
He
for
can't
us.
get back in. Is the message?
Or let me re-invite him
Right,
then.
again.
Let me re-invite him.
Check the questions, Steve. There might be
I
some...
haven't got YouTube up because I'll get too much feedback.
Well, don't you think we should be? Because we've invited...
Well, Jack's question master.
Yeah, I'm looking. I put my hand up. I was attached to my emotional reason for being on the call, and I wasn't looking. No questions
The
at the
reason
moment.
why.
No
It is.
questions at the moment. Just to let those who are watching know, if you are wanting to leave a question, I think you might need to log into
I'm going to slap you, Steve.
YouTube.
What?
In fact, the
Chris,
naughty...
you back? Yes, there's movement as well. Work.
May as well have music while we're not talking.
And anyone who tuned in at that moment in time is going, who are these four kooks that I've just suddenly had a look at?
What are these four tubes doing?
All the value that's come out of the beginning of this call, all the
Who's
important...
in between all those thoughts?
You're on the end, mate. You're not wearing a silly hat. Look, let's keep it sensible. We've done well up to now, really-ish.
Yeah.
What else do we need to talk about?
And I can see it potentially going south if we don't either get a focusing question from someone.
Okay.
Let me check my questions. I've got
One
none.
thing I wanted to say, for anybody that really doesn't know, SEO stands for Search Engine Optimization. So if you have a website, you prepare it so that search engines can find it easily, and so Google likes it. And if you play within Google's rules, you'll never get thrown out. And that's how we play, by Google's rules. Because then we can keep our websites. Like certain people that we know with over 60 websites that are put in the naughty box. We won't mention any names.
And just so that everyone's clear, that's none of us on this call.
Absolutely none of us on this call. Must be so frustrating having done all that work.
Yeah.
Paid all that money. Anyway, right, okay, Jay.
But that's the point of having the right education, right?
Very much so.
It's a very, very valid point. The training we've got from Money Sites, from Jason and Red has been, it's the good stuff. It's the stuff you pay for top universities. It's why you go to top unis. You get the good stuff out of them.
And at that point, I've got to say about the branding stuff that I went on last weekend.
Good girl.
Because we've talked before about avatars, custom avatars, trying to find your niche, positioning yourself as an expert. But that weekend pulled it all together for me. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the content I already knew from different angles, but when something just pulls it all together.
Yeah.
So it's important that whatever line of business you're in, and let's face it, whether it is an offline business that you want to market online, or you are an affiliate marketer, or whatever it is that you're marketing online, you need to firstly position yourself as an expert and create that brand before you really sort of build that relationship, and make sure that you're targeting the right people for that brand. So getting that customer avatar sorted. So that was my little pointer.
And there's at least $1,000 worth of training in those few sentences you've just said there.
Exactly.
It took
do you know who got
6-7 months before we got anywhere near figuring out some of that stuff, even with all the good training we had. I hope people were listening. I hope they were listening. It's very important stuff.
this is and that bit's going to be starred. Because it really is important. No, it is vital.
Yeah, absolutely.
Say again, Puppet.
That's why I'm the angel.
You are.
With my hands on.
I'm torn as to whether I should mention my intervention last week, because without it, I don't know where I'd be this week. And
What intervention?
where you gave me a talking to.
Well, go on then. I think that is a good
Oh,
point.
no.
Because obviously it was me.
And it's part of this self-support. There you go.
Because obviously it was me doing talking to it. Go on. Come on, this is where, like you're the blogger. This is what I do in the Four Musketeers. So,
What, a cunning linguist?
Pardon. Pardon.
The whole point was that I was getting really wound up. There was so much going on, and I was just trying to do too much all over the place and not really getting anything done. I was a busy fool. And Anna actually took the time to phone me, not on Skype or anything like that. She actually took the time to phone me and said, look, you need to write down what we're going to talk about, and you need to make a reasonable effort to stick to it, because otherwise you're just going to go downhill fast. And it's well that you didn't actually use those words. I'd be embarrassed to repeat them because my children may listen to this. But there was a lot of farmyard talk. But it was essential, really. And out of that half hour's conversation,
Half hour?
where you were giving me a dressing down, there was a real crystal half hour in the middle of it where we focused on where I should be focusing my efforts.
Yeah.
And we took away all the extraneous crap. Well, it's not crap, but it was non-productive work that felt good. And it's going back to Chris's 3 columns, I suppose.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just to refocus time of getting stuff done that needed to be done, not stuff done that was fun to do or stuff that made me feel better or stuff that I felt needed doing.
I think that we all go into that all the time, though. We go into those. I could have probably done with someone doing that today, to be honest. But we go when there's new stuff being thrown at us, or we have it's that whole overwhelm of shit.
Yeah.
What we're doing, there's lots of things. It goes back to that 3 column thing about outsourcing.
You can be busy just for the sake of being busy sometimes as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
You feel like you're going somewhere, but you aren't doing things to your business. And I'm going to call out another top tip for those of you who are still watching and who may watch us later. That's another top tip that you just listened to here. It sort of follows on Anna's top tip earlier. So if you weren't listening, rewind and go and listen to what she had to say earlier. But being focused on what you're trying to say and who you're trying to say it to helps narrow down the overwhelm. You can't speak to everyone all of the time. It's impossible.
You can't.
And I know some people say, pretend when you're sending an email out, or even if you're writing on Facebook or whatever you're doing, whenever you're writing any kind of copy, pretend that you're speaking to a friend. But I actually think pretend you're speaking to someone you bumped into who asks you about your business. Because your friend, you might not talk in that way.
I was going through.
We think they've got preconceived ideas. Do you know what I mean? So it's thinking about someone you bump into and goes, "What is it you do?"
And that's an elevator speech.
Yeah.
I read in a book the other day about having an elevator speech, and it's really important. And you need to practice that elevator speech, and it's just a 30-second speech.
What is it you do, Steve?
Yeah, exactly.
In fact, what's your strap line that we came up with that day?
Engineering. I can't bloody remember.
You see, you should know.
I know I should. I know because it's changed. You've changed it. That is so embarrassing. Oh, God. That's not.
Well, Steve goes away to think about his strap
That
line.
was like when Jay said to you, remember the time.
That was really embarrassing. I then put a picture on Facebook of the damn letter he was talking about. To engineer financial security, enabling the over 50s to recapture true retirement.
Well, mine is creating dream lifestyles for ambitious mumpreneurs.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
So you put yours up before you asked me mine?
Say that again. I haven't got it up. I know it. Go on, what's yours? Engineering.
To engineer financial security, enabling the over 50s to recapture true retirement.
So obviously everybody listening to this, these things are just weird with these funny lines.
Yeah, but anybody under 50 is going to say, well, I'm not talking to him anymore because he's not interested in me.
But that's fine. That's your avatar, and that's who you want to speak to.
Spread in the head, you see, speaking. if you don't niche down. I've had loads of dads contact me.
Dads?
I'm not a mumpreneur.
Dads or prospective dads? I mean, what's going on here? I want to be a father.
Well, more the merrier. No, pretty joke.
There's another website for you, Anna.
Well, actually, I have been in discussions with a potential writer.
A paperback writer?
No, I'm going to do loads of money sites for the dating niche. Just because I think it'll be a bit of fun. I was looking at some of the keywords, and it was sort of like the geek dating and the nerd dating that was attracting me. There was some funny keywords that were good ones, so I thought this could be a good laugh.
And
you never know who you might find along the way in that journey.
and another top tip.
It'd be Rose West.
And let's throw in the gold out tonight. Another top tip: have fun with what you're doing.
Exactly.
It seems simple, right? It does seem simple. But life is boring without a bit of laughter. We certainly do have a good old natter amongst ourselves. Yeah, absolutely. Right, boys and girls. 3/4 of an hour in.
Any questions from the floor?
None. We've either stunned silence or the technology is broken.
They've seen me open a can of beer and they've all thought, well, if he can have a drink, we're going to go in the pub.
I'm surprised I did get a couple of emails tonight.
Actually, I haven't even checked the email. It's possible we've got something in through email. But I know we didn't want to make it too long this evening.
No, that's cool.
And I do genuinely think quite a lot of good value has been shared tonight. Actually, I'm just thinking back on, I mean, we started off with the intent of talking about our reason why, right? But a lot of stuff has come out and just in general conversation that's extremely valuable and is in some very, very good insight. I'm going to take the opportunity to, well, this is going to go out, we'll share this with people, take the opportunity to say if anyone's got any questions, queries, comments, just reply back to the email that this comes in on, and we're more than happy to have a chat with you. Try and help you along your path that you can. Anna's alluded to it on her side with her Halo earlier. Our goals are to help people, so we need some people to help to give us. Steve, you've just undermined a very sincere message.
Oh, no. But to add on to that, I sent out an email.
The oldest is the most childish.
I sent out an email last week, was it? In fact, it was all about the branding experts success seminar that went on, and I did actually offer people a 20-minute consultation about your branding and any direction for myself on your site, and I was actually bombarded with replies. I've had some really good conversation with people, met some really interesting people from all over the globe, from Dallas and all sorts of places. So, and when I do my world round trip, I've got all these places now that I can stay. So I'd like to offer anybody listening who's come in through some of my emails that the first 3 people after tonight's hangout, if they want to contact me, the first 3 people, I'm willing to give another 60 minutes of my time. So 20 minutes each. So
do they know how much that costs?
No, exactly.
I mean, not being frivolous here, but that's a hell of a lot of time to give away a whole hour.
Look after my people. My mumpreneurs matter to me.
No, that's cool. That's cool. I'm just trying to highlight that. Go ahead, Chris.
I can't remember what I was going to say. I was actually muted. I was talking before. I had some really interesting points that I made, and everybody just kept talking, and I realised why. Because I was completely muted off. I've been talking to myself for about the last 20 minutes.
Oh, I hope you enjoyed it. Is that why you were phoning me?
No, yeah, I phoned you to unmute you, and I realised I could unmute myself, which was how technically adept I am. Yeah.
Another important point, that you don't have to be
a technical guru. No, definitely not.
Yeah, I'm in a bit of a sulk now as well because you weren't listening to me, so I'm not going to say anything else.
Well, I'm in the naughty boy corner for putting the stopwatch on Jack.
Yeah, it's a good thing you do, because if we don't put the stopwatch on each other, Steve, we'll end up rambling along for the rest of the evening.
Actually, I do think we've had a good hangout. I think we've given, like Jack said, we've given some great information. I think we should probably draw it to a close, to be honest, because I think we're going to start rambling. I think we've covered the topic quite well.
Get off while the good while it's good.
Start rambling.
I've just unmuted, mate, so I'm coming off now.
I've just
Anyone who wants to talk to Chris, he'll be live on Skype.
I've just come in to say, can we please end this?
While we're all laughing, I'm going to end this while we're all laughing. Thank you, everyone, for joining.
Yeah.